Okay, today we have a 2009 Mini Cooper S Turbo. Turbo's right there. And we've been having a cooling problem. We're going to switch out and put another thermostat in here because original thermostat that it's a aftermarket is throwing engine codes. And supposedly there was an issue with some of them that they're real sensitive. And only the original equipment manufacturing thermostat housings work properly, so went ahead and bought a new thermostat and we're going to put that on here today. So first, drain the coolant from the hose up underneath here, dripping down, and then I'm going to disconnect the reservoir, just get some room in here to work. I like as much room as I can get. So I took off an 8mm screw so far, just a little bitty one there, mounts to the reservoir, and then the overfill tube. And on the bottom of the reservoir, I just wanted to make sure I recorded here, there's a little clip you pull out and then it'll just pop out with probably an O-ring. So we're going to do that right now. Okay, so we just pull back on that little clip. It stays on the apparatus, on the hose, and then once you do, it just pulls right off the bottom of the reservoir really easily. Okay, so I may have messed up my recording, but if this is duplicated, it is. But I have to take off this hose here. Just real simple. Unplug this. There's a screw here and a screw here up the turbo intake, and also electrical connector right here. I marked. Just put like some fingernail polish or something so you know what color's coded. And this is brown right here. It goes into the top of the split here where the hose goes into the valve cover. Okay, next you take off your air filter housing. There's one T25 Torx bit that holds it down right over here, which is the one right here. This is the only one that holds it down. The rest is just for the top housing right here. And then you got to disconnect this air intake hose and also the electrical connector right here. This here, when you're disconnecting it, it's kind of hard to see up underneath here, but you just have to do a little twisting motion. And instead of pulling it straight off, there's like little slots that are inside. You can see right there. You do a little twist of a quarter turn, and then it'll pop off this end, and then this disconnects from the front. It's an air dam that goes through right here. There's an opening here. It takes air inflow, and then you just snake this thing out and disconnect this little tube that's on there. Okay, so then next you want to remove this, I think it's an air vacuum. Just has a little clip on it right here. Right down in here, you just push in on the tab real hard and it'll just disconnect right from there. And it runs back into the firewall, through the firewall. Alrighty, so next we're going to remove these vacuum lines to the turbo wastegate. Here's one here. Pull this off, and then is the longer of the two. There's another one. There's another one right here. Let's see if we can get a light on there a little better. Yeah, there's one right here and here. The guy who did this already didn't really run these back properly. So take them off, and when you reconnect them, this is the one that is longer, and you can see it'll reach out to here, and this one here is shorter, and it'll pop up into this little nipple. Yeah, a nipple right there. Okay, and then also you're gonna have to work around this wiring harness here to get to the thermostat, which is the thermostat bodies sitting right down in underneath this wiring harness with all the hoses going to it here. And then you can disconnect the electrical connectors right here, right down here, and also another one right there up underneath the fuel pump maybe. Okay, so the electrical connectors, I disconnected this one right here. That's what it looks like. Goes to the connector up underneath the metal 90-degree turn right here, right here. And then the other electrical connector is black, which goes into the thermostat body right down in here. Let's see right there. Yeah, this is black with a blue grommet. Goes into this connector off the thermostat body right there. Alright, so now you have to take off two other connectors off of the thermostat body, which is in brown right here. That's on the top of the thermostat body. And then also this other connector goes right here. And this is just has one wire. And this, I believe this is the one that operates the fan control. And it's already marked. We marked it with a little yellow spot there. Because this connector and this connector that goes up to the top, the brown one I talked about earlier, actually are the exact same size. And also the one that connects to the brown up in here that she's not lighting up. Yeah, they're right there. That the connectors up here that run, they're all the exact same size. So you could make a mistake and connect the wrong one. So you got to make sure you mark it for sure. Alright, so now I want to make sure I get the hose routing here. Up underneath the electrode connector is the thermostat. So back here we have, let's see what we got going. Alright, so this hose up top right here is a heater hose. Goes back through the firewall. And that runs back to the, I don't know if you can see that, right back here. What a lighting, it's crapola. On the left side there is one heater hose. I think that's the inlet. And then over on the right side right there is the outlet. So the inlet hose is connected to this port, okay? The outlet from the heater cord comes up and actually Ys right up underneath here and splits off, and one part goes here to the transmission cooler, and then it both connect to go into the thermostat body on the lower section over here. And then there's a big tube up underneath that plastic that comes around and runs all the way up underneath. It's going to be hard to see. You'll see it when you're doing it. It's a hard plastic tube. It runs all the way up to a connector up on the other side into the engine compartment where the water pump is connected. So we'll see how that comes out. That is the only thing I'm worried about as far as having space to get to and maneuverability. The other hoses here, you have on the left side you have the top hose. This one here comes out, routes around, and comes and splits right here to the upper radiator. And the other hose where it splits, the smaller diameter, runs all the way back down this way to the transmission cooler on the right side over here. And that, which is interesting, I was feeling the hose for temperature, and right at this point, I'm not going to be able to hold the light and do this, but here we go. Right, let's see where I was holding. Okay, right here, there's a hard piece in the hose. I had to call the parts department, have them pull another hose. I just want to make sure it wasn't a defect or something in it. So right here is malleable. Right here is a rock hard piece. I don't know if it's structural integrity or, I don't know, backflow device. I'm not sure what it is, but just want to let you know that that's normal. It's not an issue. And then the other hose is coming off more of the front of the thermostat. Right here. This hose here comes out, runs around, and comes down to, oh yeah, that's the one that comes down and all the way down, shoots down, and this is the one that I drained. It comes across the, I'm going to videotape it here if I can. Let's see, this crappy video here. There we go. Comes down, runs, and this is where I disconnected it. Comes together with another peep right here. Runs around to the lower radiator hose, basically. All right, there's one more. There's 5 hoses. I almost forgot. The other hose is this one. It comes out the bottom of the reservoir we already disconnected. Runs up this way. splits off with the pipe that runs to the turbo right here, okay, for coolant, and splits here and runs, see if you can see that, we got back down here, it's hidden, and it goes down to the bottom of the thermostat housing body. So I'm going to say that's going to be the last one after I unbolt it to take off, and obviously the first thing to get connected before you bolt it up seems to be the logical progression. Okay, so I've already taken 2 hoses off the backside here, and I'm using this curved needle nose, real long needle nose here.
I can focus on you.
And it actually works pretty good for taking these clamps off if you don't have a specific tool for this. But watch, this one probably have a problem. But you can get up in there and clamp it, and since they're curved, you can actually pull on it to get these clamps off. And it worked pretty well on the other one. They're always little sticklers, and I also have this other tool, little curved thing here. You can get on the other side and then kind of work it back and forth. And also that curved tool there that I had just showing you, it actually works really well with pulling the hoses off. So you can get kind of back here on the hose. Let's see where the hose is. There we go. And kind of dig. Oh, you got that white line that kind of lines it up. So it's right up on there. You gotta separate it a little. Trying to figure out where the rubber starts and stops. Oh, okay, we're way up here. It's hard to tell where the body of the, there we go. This is recently done, so these aren't too tight. But see, you can get right behind that hose a little, and if they're really tight, you get up in there, kind of zip around and break that seal, and then use this to pull. It's a really, really useful tool right here. If you zoom back out a little, you'd see the tool. Zoom out. Out, babe. Out. Yeah, that's out. So it's a good tool to have. Not even sure what it's called, but it works great.
Right.
Okay, here's the new water pump we're going to be installing here. I have yet to unbolt this yet. I want to show you where the bolts, and there's 3 bolts that go in here.
Yeah.
So it sits like this. The brown connector's up top, which is similar to the brown connector that sits up right back up in right up in that spot right there. So you have one here, you have one down underneath at the bottom here, and then one over here under that tube. So you see, let's see if I can zoom in exactly the accessibility. Where are we at here? Okay, see that metal right there? There's one bolt right there. There's another one you can see, yeah, right back behind this black tubing right here. That little right there, shiny. That's a bolt right there. You can get to and see that and get to that. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I like the personality.
I don't have my lighting specialist here. She's on the phone. And then over here, that seems to be the only issue.
Brian, you need me?
I'm fine. This heater core outlet that comes out right here. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit on this thing.
Yeah, I'm helping Brian with the car, so I gotta go anyway.
Yeah, the lighting's not great. So
I see.
the other one sits up underneath it. You can't see it or anything. Really crappy video here. Where's the light? Yeah, that's okay. You just have to feel it. It sits up underneath here, and it's I can feel it right there. So should be okay to get to. All right. So probably the most difficult part right now we run into is the underneath here with the other bolt that's hidden behind. Oh boy. Let's see if you can see it. The bottom part of the thermostat housing back in here. Well, this light's just went out. There we go. Yeah, back here. The let's see if you can see it. Yeah, that little there. Oh Lord, why is this light? Okay, see that little silver bolt right back in there, in the back part, way back in there. I can't get a wrench on it, so I'm gonna have to take this hose off. I was talking about I might do last. The hose, this hose here, take that off first, right? So the clamp is everything is in the way. The clamp right down here, that clamp here, I'm trying to get that clamp off. So using my okay, it's continuing. That's cool. I hit the wrong button and shut my phone off. But anyway, the clamp to get on that piece is hard to get to. So I was trying to get some maneuverability with this tool up underneath here, like so. That's just not. Anyway, the hose that's in the way seemed to be this this hose here. So I'm taking this hose off. I pulled that clamp and popped this hose off, and now I might have a little videotaping is hard to do when you're talking about something. So I'm going to try to get up underneath here with this and then pop that clamp off. Alright, so I had a little issue. Let me hold my phone down here. Okay, so I tried to get this clamp off down here, and I got it and was pulled it off, but it's not wanting to come off the thermostat because it's such a short hose, and this is a solid structure right here, metal. So I went ahead and took off this clamp too. So I'm going to push down from here, take this little 90-degree turn hose off on both ends, and then we'll probably have room to take that last bolt off.
You can bore these.
All right, so let's get back to where we're at. I've done a few things here since. So we're looking at trying to get that nut off. That hose that was at the bottom, it's here's the hose right here. It's a little 90-degree elbow. And the problem is that there's really nowhere to go. When you try to pull off this way, you know, it doesn't go because it's connected to metal coming down this way, and then this, you try to take it off this way and it's pushed into the thermostat on this side. So what I did is I just kind of pushed down right in the center on the V and just like kind of like pushed it and just went straight down at one, took it off both ends at the same time. And then once we had that off, then we had accessibility to get the wrench into we had a 3/8 drive socket, 10mm right onto the nut. Took it off really no problem. So then the only other thing is the plastic piece coming out. Let me get the phone down in here. Really crappy video here. Sorry guys. Oh Lord, I dropped my phone. Okay, what do we got on here? So coming off of the, here's my hand. There we go. Wow. Get these hoses out of the way I've taken off. There's a plastic piece coming off the thermostat. This is part of the thermostat body right here. There we go. And it comes around, and something else is in my videotaping. Oh, Lordy. Okay, right here. It connects into the plastic tube that runs through the back underneath the intake exhaust manifold. And it's held right back in here where my finger's touching, and the camera's not focusing. There we go. Okay, oh, now we got it. Right here. It comes together and it'll pull apart like that. So the only thing holding this together is from the top down on the top. I'll show you this clip that, where we got, here we go. This clip right here, it just sits right through a slot and goes whoosh, right down and holds it to keep it from coming apart. It's crazy, you know, you don't get coolant leaking or anything, but that actually holds it. And then on the other side of that pipe, that's back here, yeah, this pipe runs up underneath all of this. You see where my hand is, hidden to a compartment that goes into the water pump housing. Or I think it's into a hole of the engine that the water pump is connected to, part of it. And that's been replaced already. So we're just going to try to make sure we don't make any leak problems and try to get it back together without leaking. Otherwise you have to do the job all over again. Okay, so got the metal clip in. First I put a couple bolts in the thermostat to hold it but then the back side over here was up against the engine body, so I couldn't get the clip in. So I actually had to take the bolts out. So the first thing you do is you have to get that clip back in with the thermostat body completely not mounted to the engine block at all. And then once you have that in that slot and it's popped in with just an O-ring, seems crazy that, absolutely crazy to me that it's actually going to hold. I mean, you see how it just has a little give, but it just slides in, there's an O-ring, and I guess it holds. It's the design. And then now we're going to go ahead and put the bolts back in to the thermostat body. Okay, so we got this bottom hose, a little elbow one I had problems with before, and realized that the best thing was there's a bracket that has where's the hole? Right there. Right here, there's a bracket right here that's mounted to the engine, and if you take that little bolt off, then you get some maneuverability in here like this, and then you're able to get that hose on way easier. 10mm bolt. It's on the bracket. Comes off of the turbo coolant line. Alrighty, so I didn't show how to reassemble, but it's kind of self-explanatory, just reverse process of what you did. I did show you about the line to take this loose in order to get the one line on. The rest of the lines all went on really simple without any issue. Got it back, and then evidently these systems are tough to bleed to get the air out. There is a bleeder screw. Where's the screwdriver? Huh? Give me a screwdriver right down there. There's a bleeder screw that sits down right through this opening right here. So it's going to be almost impossible for you to see. Yeah, without a light, which I have a light here. Let me see if I can see where the end of that screwdriver goes. Let's take that out. See if I can show you. There's a, yeah, you see that right there? That's a screw. Okay, so supposedly if you take it all the way, almost all the way out, it'll let air escape from the thermostat body housing. And also says they have the front end up, helps a little bit. And then you fill your reservoir tank here. And so we're going to try that and see how it goes.